Girl, have the audacity to.
Girl, have the audacity to go to war.
The Conversations at Ruby's Roundtable is about starting where you are with what you have, taking bold risks and betting big on yourself. That, in a nutshell, is exactly what I'm doing with this podcast, singing, developing a clothing line, and mentoring after having the audacity to quit my TV news job. So I'm telling you about all the challenges and wins along the way. I'm also inviting familiar and respected risk takers, innovators, energizers, entrepreneurs from other careers you may know who are also beating the odds. Through these conversations at the table, not only will you have resources and takeaways to apply to your own journey, but all the motivation for you to take that leap of faith fearlessly. So, will you have the audacity to join us?
You have been influencing Charlotte for how many years?
Maybe like 5 or 6 years. I've been doing it full time for more like 4 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And how did you get started?
Well, it started with me doing it for fun, really, to be honest with you. I started doing it as a hobby because people were always like, I know all the places to go. So I just started, posting pictures and videos till one day somebody reached out to me, a restaurant, and pretty much offered me money, funds to create content, to do their marketing for their restaurant. And it kind of turned into a thing. And I started doing it full time.
Did you like the restaurant? Did you like the actual place that you went to? Or was it kind of like a no-brainer? They're asking, they're paying, I'm heading there now.
No, I actually love the place. They asked me to go to come there. So it definitely was a no-brainer.
Okay. So there's so many people that I see on social media, TikTok, etc., saying, I want to create content. I want to get brand deals. I want to figure out how to make this an income. Mm-hmm. At what point did you say, okay, I'm going to do this full time and figure out how to do it consistently?
Well, for me, I feel like when you go into it, do it because it's something that you love to do.
Right.
I love to create content. It's just always been me. A lot of people don't know I used to be on YouTube, but that was like my thing. One day my best friend said something to me that's still funny to this day. She said, girl, you were meant for this. She was like meant for it. And she's always like mocking me like, hey, YouTube. So that's always been my thing. So I think when people go into things like this, they should do it because it's something that they love to do. You know what I mean? No, don't just do it for the money. Because if you're doing it for the money, you're going to get burnt out and it won't last long. You know?
And I also think passion leads, because when you don't feel like it, or maybe when you booked yourself up a few times, it's like maybe that energy of just being passionate and being around people who are eating with you or creating with you, that will give you some energy to keep going day after day when it feels like a little, Lord, we got another one today, right?
Yeah. And I have a great support system, too. I'll say that. As far as family and friends, I have a great support system. They always like my plus ones, and they know exactly what to do.
Listen, I definitely would love to get that call, like, oh, you need me where? If one of my friends did content creation, like, you need me, what we eating today? What we throwing the axe? You said we throwing the axe today? Like, just imagine being that friend who getting the phone.
I call them my unpaid assistants.
That is funny. But really, it's like they're getting the experience.
Yeah.
Like, that's priceless.
Yeah, it is. It is. And they love it. Like I said, it's the support for me. It's definitely the support.
Unpaid assistance. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that for something.
Well, they get paid in food and experience.
Paid in food, paid in experience. You're right. Run me through kind of your day-to-day. How do you stay organized? How do you line them up so you're not getting burned out just by looking at what's on your calendar?
Okay. So I was guilty in the beginning when I first started of not having any kind of organization.
Okay. You got to start somewhere.
Yes, I was very guilty of that. Just trying to do everything mentally in my head until I realized that I was getting behind on a lot of things. So believe it or not, I use my handy dandy phone, the calendar. And everything that is booked, I book it out on my calendar. But every day looks different for me. Every day is different, day by day. I always compare it from being an entrepreneur to going to being a 9 to 5. You know what they say, when you quit your 9 to 5, you end up working around the clock as an entrepreneur.
More.
Correct. So during the day, I'm out grabbing content. At night, through the night, I might be replying to emails, editing, all the things. So sometimes I might, I know that's not a good thing, but sometimes I do really work around the clock.
Right.
But for me, the organization all comes within my calendar. The calendar does it for me. That's what works for me.
Right. No, I agree, because if you are kind of one man banding it for a little minute, then you need to figure out how to organize it in a way that works for you. Like, yeah, you're working with other people, but how can this work for you at the same time?
Right.
Because you're the front facing person who's putting out the content and trying to do it the best way.
Right. And it's to a point now where I'm actually thinking about outsourcing like a virtual assistant, because I have a lot on my plate with that, so I could only imagine all the other things I could do if I had some kind of help.
Right, right. Two hands better than one, right? Yeah. So are these restaurants, businesses, are they just calling you saying, hey, we want you to come and create this, or are they just saying, come to our restaurant, see what you like, make content out of it? Do you kind of have your hands all in it, or not so much?
So usually it's the restaurant or tourism board, because I do a lot of travel as well. Tourism board, they usually reach out to me. But the way that they're finding me is through my content. That's why I always tell people content is king.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's really how I got my deals.
Right.
Because people remember, when I started doing this, I was doing it for fun. So all these businesses were just finding me. It's like, oh, okay, I would love to have you come market, especially when they're looking at the numbers.
Right.
And seeing how great that those videos are doing. So they usually will just reach out to me, but say if it's an experience that I want to do myself and the business hadn't reached out to me, then I would actually pitch them.
Okay.
Every now and again, I might pitch someone, but it's usually like tourism boards, because I am trying to gear more towards the travel as well. But travel and food kind of go together. So it works.
Because you got to eat, to be able to do your excursions, to travel, you got to have your food.
Yes,
Yes. So when it comes to the pitch, are you doing that by email? Do you have like a deck that you send out with your numbers? How do you go about that?
So I do have a pitch deck.
Okay.
I have a pitch deck, and it's pretty much and it has a lot of my references, people that I've worked with, just like I showed you before. Right. Those things are on my pitch deck, just from businesses that I work with, so that they can see that it is an actual ROI, a return on their income. And with my numbers, all of my platforms and all that good stuff. And I have like a email pitch template, and I'll just switch it up and gear it towards whoever it is that I'm trying to pitch. Right. And like I said, very so often do I pitch. For the most part, the businesses usually reach out to me. They just find me through my content.
Right. Oh, thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Hey, you hard, student?
Find the other. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Look at you, girl.
You got the pinky? Girl. We got the pinky. You see the pinky? Pinky's up. Okay. I feel real prim, real proper. Creme de la creme. First of all, I want to see, when you are sitting down here, how are you shooting this content? Can you kind of show me the behind the scenes?
So pretty much it's just, like you say, I'm a one-man band. So it's just me, my light, and my phone. I don't use a camera or anything. And if it was bad lighting in here, but it's light as you see right now, whatever, I would just simply, take my phone and swag and concentrate and focus on everything that I need for the content. Anything that would stand out in a video and make somebody say, "Oh, I want to go have my own high tea."
Right.
And again, I'm usually always filming myself as well. So myself, or I have someone with me that's filming me or whatever.
Right.
So like I said, that's just the way of humanizing the video. So it's organic and all that good jazz. But I don't ever do anything that I wouldn't enjoy myself.
Right.
I enjoy hot teas. I enjoy teas.
I love it.
It's a unique tea, So I think that's why I did so well on my platforms as well.
And so this just makes it more sense that it doesn't take a lot for you to be able to collaborate, get your own video, and get in, out, make the relationship. It's all you before you get this team. But look at you growing with Just your phone and your
Yeah.
light and your personality and your smile.
It can be done. It can be done. I'm
Okay.
doing it.
You are doing it, and you're doing it well. Okay, so talk to us about what we have in front of us here.
This one would be a inspiration of the British high tea.
Okay.
And the Asian tea.
Okay.
Party, I guess.
Okay.
Because I love. I don't know if you guys ever had Vietnamese. Like Chinese dim sum and stuff.
Yeah.
Dim sum is like small, like tapas. kind of
Okay.
thing for Asian folks. They have small portion. So when I came, the only tea place I know in Charlotte was at Valentine Hotel. My
Okay.
sister threw me a baby shower there. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But they have very limited like schedule or something. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do my own high tea.
Yes.
Yeah. So whatever I want, I just do it on my own.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna bring high tea to my restaurant so I can
Yeah.
drink it whenever I want.
I love that. I love
So I
that.
kind of combine like the typical British high tea, and then instead of having the sandwiches, I just do the Asian snack. So yeah.
Okay.
So,
You recently just had a collaboration with Shionda, and it went so well. She shared with me the review that you sent and wrote about her. What was so good about the collaboration that you are now building this relationship?
yeah, I mean, it was really unexpected. I mean, because we have other influencer come to us all the time, but it's never like this big. I mean, I was just thinking, well, just another, party that we're throwing. And then when it like got a lot of hit, and then, I mean, I wouldn't lie if I'm telling you, I would get about like 5 to 10 party inquiry almost every day or almost throughout the week. Like so much I couldn't handle. Like I start slacking. I was like, I cannot respond to them all. I'm gonna pick a few of my favorite and respond to them. Like, it was awful. And then I have to even talk to my platform. I was like, can you like make this easier? Because I get so many inquiries now that I cannot leave the other people really hanging. Yeah, so it was a very pleasant surprise. I was like, whoa, yeah.
I love it. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Do you have a certain value or kind of foundation that you lead with when you're saying yes? What I mean by that is, do you look at the restaurant? Do you look at the business and kind of, okay, they are for the people? I don't know if they have like a certain, you know how you walk into a hole in the wall and you can tell it's family oriented?
yeah.
Like, do you look at their style, their way of being before you say yes? Or do you just look at, okay, I could see myself creating content here?
I definitely do. It's been times where I have turned things down.
Okay.
Because I know I've been there before maybe, and it was something that I didn't care for, or I felt like it wouldn't resonate with my audience. If I feel like it doesn't really resonate with my audience, like that's like me posting a brewery. I
Right.
don't even drink beer.
Right.
But they reach out to me. But I wouldn't do that just because they are offering me
Right.
money for it. So, but it's not me, it's not my brand.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely think I'm particular about things like that. I don't just
Yeah.
do it just because.
And it makes sense of how you have to be passionate about it, because if you're doing this for free, just off of the strength of being passionate, then that's going to be where the best content lies, because
Right.
it's like you actually like
Right.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What advice would you give to someone who's like, girl, I'm on the phone with you right now. Girl, I am trying to start this content creation. I'm always on my phone. I'm always going to get lunch or do activities with my friends, but I just am scared. What is your advice for that girl?
So I get people reach out to me all the time and say that, but I feel like they want to do it for the wrong reasons. So I would just say, do it because your heart is in it. Do it because your heart is in it. And if you do get into it, because I notice this a lot, don't compare yourself to anybody.
Right.
You are your own competition, but believe it or not, a lot of people in this field are comparing each other.
What are they
themselves to each other.
comparing?
Their content, their numbers. Why did I get this deal, but this, I couldn't get this deal, but this person didn't, and I had this numbers.
True.
So, well, sometimes, guess what? It's not even about the numbers. Sometimes people just like you, the person. I always say
Right.
I'm the brand. That's why I ended up, I rebranded myself. I used to be the Yelp Elite chick. So I rebranded myself into Shionda Farrell, because that's me. I'm the brand, Shionda Farrell.
Right.
BK Shay. Had to throw that in there.
So crazy. I love it. But that makes sense, because if you're the walking billboard, then they should really want you because of your personality, your energy, your aura. that's gonna come first, and then whatever product or service that you're attaching your energy, your personality to make it all come together.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Talk about the rebrand that you just mentioned. Do you feel like things are running a little bit smoother because you attached your name to it, or what was in that process for you to make that switch?
I'm definitely glad I made the switch. Again, were you following me when I was Yelp
Yes.
Elite Chick? Okay. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When I was Yelp Elite Chick, did you think I had any association with Yelp?
I think if you hear the name and you look at the name, you see Yelp. And so maybe there could be some association with that. But then at the same time, it's like if I saw you walking, I might call you that because that's what I'm consistently seeing on my social media because you're posting so much. So I'm like, oh. But I think, too, a lot of people are trying to figure out, should I lead with my name in any type of brand? Because your name is your name and you are going to be associated with that from the beginning. So what if something happens? Do you want to always be your name? Or did you want to detach from that so you can keep, I guess, the business and your personal side separate?
Right.
So
a lot of people was associated me with being part of Yelp. They thought I worked for Yelp.
makes sense.
Nothing on my page had anything to do with Yelp. Love Yelp. I was Yelp Elite. That's what kind of brought on that whole name. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, and it was catchy. That's why I'm like, if you're out and about, you're like, there go the Yelp Elite girl. Hey, girl. Hey, that's how I would see you out and about. But would I lead with Yelp? No, I would just think that you took your content creation in a different way that maybe stem from the reviews that Yelp receives, but you kind of made it yours.
It had nothing to do with it. And that was a big part. I had a collaboration with a hotel here uptown, and one of the ladies from the PR, she was telling me, she said, I really think, she was kind of the one that pushed me. She was like, I really think you should change your name on Instagram. She said, because prime example, no shade to them, but if they have some kind of backlash and you're connected to that name on Instagram, that could, hinder you from furthering what you're trying to do. And
Makes
she
sense.
was right, so when I changed my name to my name on Instagram, everything went up for me.
Okay.
To be honest with you, everything started going all the way uphill. So I'm glad that I did it when I did it.
Right.
Yeah, because I struggled with changing it because I feel like that's what everybody knew me by. And every time I would be out, they'd be like, hey, you the Yelp Elite Chick.
Yeah.
And I kind of got tired of people calling me Chick, too. I was like, girl, I'm a woman. I'm a grown woman at that.
I love that. But you still created an audience, you still created relationships, you still created some consistency to where the people who love you, they're gonna go with you.
Right.
They're gonna go with you. Yeah. So that's good that you felt that discernment of, okay, I'm gonna change my name, and then look how it went from there.
Yeah. And it inspired others to do it, because there's a couple now that were asking me how did it go for me, and they just recently changed their names on Instagram because they were struggling with that as well. Because it's a hard struggle, especially when you're building and you're growing and you're growing as that name.
Right.
Now you're like, okay, so now nobody's gonna find me or know this is me when I change it. But it took some time, but it happened when it was supposed to.
What do you think the biggest challenge is with content creation?
I would say, for me, I don't really feel like it's really a lot of challenges. But for me, I would just say back-to-back editing. A lot of people, they just see you having fun, right? I sell fun because everything looks like I'm just having fun online. But a lot of nights, I have a lot of sleepless nights, and I'm up editing these videos. Something that looks so simple is a lot. I put a lot of work into it, up editing back-to-back videos and things like that. And when people try to come aboard and think they want to do content creation full time, they're like, girl, this is a lot. It is. I try to tell you that.
I tried to tell you it's a full-time job. You were working around the clock.
I just make it look easy. That's it. I make it look easy.
Yes, you do. And that's why people are gravitating towards you, businesses, restaurants, travel entities, because you are leading with you in every piece of your content. Yeah. So if you had to outsource only one person first, would it be an editor to make your job easier, or would it be an assistant to answer the calls coming in? You only got one, girl.
To be honest with you, I'm going to say editing.
Editing? Okay.
I'm 1,000% editing.
Okay. That's the most time consuming out of content creating, especially when you have built relationships with different people where you're booked and busy kind of
Between
weekly.
that and emails, that will be the most, but I would still take editing. Any day.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can kind of really be hands off and just continue to
Correct.
be
Just create. Create and let them edit, send me the footage, and I'll post it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Why would you tell someone not to go into content creation other than outside of if they're not passionate about it? Like, is there a downside that we don't see, but you kind of push through because it's working for you, or is that case by case?
The thing that I feel like a lot of people struggle with right now is the whole diversity thing. As an African American, whether male or female, we don't get the same opportunities. You know, I see it every day. I see it every day where, you know, our counterparts may have done the same collaboration for something we weren't offered anything like, you know, any compensation.
Right.
For. So I would say that's a lot of the struggle right now in the content creation, and it's a heavy topic right now, situation in content creation.
How would you advise someone to deal with that gap, or to bridge that gap, or to keep, I don't want to say keep a poker face, but how to communicate what they want to do if they're pitching a brand that they really want to, or they saw someone else get an opportunity, they're like, oh, I want something similar. Is there some advice there that you could give someone to kind of help them just make it a little easier if they do get a no? Like, is there some sort of motivation tip that you can give, like if they get backlash, or if they feel like, okay, they chose that person over me because of this? Like, how do you keep going with your content creation?
Again, if you love what you do, because I tell people all the time, I get no's sometimes. You know, everybody get no's, but sometimes you'll get 1,000 no's before you get a yes. Right. But I've also had people, I always say they circle back, they circle the block.
Spin the block.
Yeah, so I mean, just keep creating, do what you do, and keep doing the right things, and they'll come back, and the right opportunities will come to you. Right. And you won't have to find them.
I believe that. Yeah. I believe that. But I like that you mentioned that is kind of a challenge or issue that creators are starting to put at the forefront and speak out about, because it should be fair. Because if it is about just creating an experience and leading with passion and doing it because you love it, then why should it be because I might be African American, or because of your likeness more towards this person that you kind of separated. But but on the other end, does the business have that control? Do they really have that control? The control of what, though? The control of picking and choosing.
I feel like they do. I mean, it's just all about who they want in to create that content that they want to attract to their business, if that makes sense.
True. That makes sense. Just because if you had a business and there are people reaching out to you, hey, I want to work with you. Are you going to sit there and say, okay, who would be best for the brand? Right. While on the other end, the person, if they don't get picked, they might look at it as, oh, they picked that person over me. But maybe there were certain characteristics or qualities that person came off up front that's like, that aligns better. Yeah. So I can see both sides.
Yeah. And a lot of reason why I started doing it as well, not like I said, not just for fun, but, you know, to kind of put in the forefront, it is nice places for us to go as well. Because, you know, I had some friends that all they wanted to do was go to Chili's. And I'm like, girl, chill. I don't want to go to Chili's.
Not Chili's.
All they wanted to do was go to Chili's. But, you know, you still have something like that today. But, you know, I just wanted to show it's more out there. You know, nice restaurants where you don't have to spend a lot of money. Right. You know, all those things or whatever. But, yeah.
That is funny. You have to get out of your environment. So I think content creation, too, is a little bit of relationship building, you putting yourself in places and spaces that maybe you've never been in. So it kind of grows you too. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
You were doing hair in the hair business before going into content creation full time. What did you love about hair? What made you start this business involving, I guess you can say, cosmetology, touching on that? What made you start that or go into it?
So never in a million years would I have ever thought that I would not be doing hair. Don't want to have anything to do with it anymore.
Okay.
That's one thing everybody always knew about me. Shay gonna have her hair done at all times. Like, you guys just met me, but you know, years ago I had every hair color it was to have, every hairstyle to have. Went straight into beauty school, you know, from high school. I just knew that's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And years later, I started to actually get my own business, actually hand making wigs. I was successful at it, but I was burnt out. I was burnt out because I was trying to do everything myself. And I always tell people when they ask me what my weakness is, I always tell them my weakness is accepting help. That is my weakness.
Not delegating.
And it hurts me, yeah. It hurts me bad because I have a real problem with not accepting help. So I think I'm not going to say that business failed because I actually ended up handing it off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I actually ended up handing it off. I shut down all my social media for it. I actually grew that social media, was on the news for it. I sent you news. So, I mean, it was a thing. I was shipping wigs left and right, out of the country. But one thing that running that business by myself taught me was patience. It taught me patience because you need patience in everything you do, even your everyday life.
It's your baby. It's something you're trying to grow. So, it's steps to it.
Yes.
Would you go back?
No.
And be the front face because you're still keeping your hair laid in. So, or could you find another direction to get back into it and maybe not the position that you were in before? You could do content creation for hair, right? You know?
You know what? I'm still gonna say no, Ruby. I'm gonna say no.
I respect
and sometimes you have to just realize when it's time to throw in the towel with certain things.
Right.
And I lost my passion for it. Passion for it. Like I said, never in a million years would I ever thought I wouldn't be doing anything with hair or in the beauty world because that was just always me straight out of high school.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Even in high school, I used to drive my parents crazy. I had girls lined up.
I was about to say,
hair done.
I was like, were you the girl in high school? Hey, can I come get my hair braided?
My mom, they still messing with me to this day. I used to, my friends say, girl, you were doing lashes before people was even thinking about lashes. I used to do all of that stuff.
All
lashes,
the things.
Makeup, hair. So like I said, my time has passed with that. I threw in the towel. It was fun while it lasted. It taught me some things. And it led me to where I'm at now, to be honest with you.
Right. You can't spin a block on everything, right?
Correct.
So what have you learned about yourself, other than patience, that you would encourage other people to kind of take a step back and say, okay, you have to be this certain person or have this certain value about yourself if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, working for yourself and working with people?
I would say learning when to pivot, to step back. Because that's pretty much where I'm at now.
Okay.
Even in this content creation space, I'm just trying to figure out what my pivot is. I kind of have an idea of what it is I want to do, but I'm just trying to figure out, I'm trying to get all my ducks in a row and figure out where I want to go with it, but I do know I'm going to pivot. Just like I pivoted out of hair, I'm going to pivot out of this. It's always to figure out the end game, because at the end of the day, I can't do this forever. You know?
Right.
So that's what my answer would be to that.
And each step of the way, like you just said, you learned something with hair that led you into content creation. You're going to take tips, you're going to take lessons, trials, tribulations, challenges, successes out of content creation and put that into the pivot too. So it's always a level. Right. Are you ready for the level?
I am. I'm here to receive all of it.
Okay.
I'm ready for it.
I had a mentor tell me one time, real G's move in silence.
Listen, and that's what I do.
Okay. I'm not going to poke right now, but I'm looking forward to an update since you're getting your ducks in a row. But are we still going to see you present on social media?
Oh, yeah. You'll still see me every day.
Okay. Okay.
You'll still see me.
Finish the sentence for me based on our conversation, based on who you are, based on entrepreneurship, content creation, hustle, bustle, grinding. Think about the girl who's like, I want to do this, but I just don't know where to start. Girl, have the audacity to. How would you finish that? Start at the beginning. Girl, have the audacity to.
Girl, have the audacity to go to war. And the reason why I say that is because I always tell people I'm not looking for perfect people. I'm not looking for perfect friends or anything like that. I need people to be wounded, if that makes sense, because that means they know how to move. They know how to move in adversity and things like that. So you need that in business, to be honest with you. So that would be my completion of the sentence.
Go to war.
Yes.
Go to war.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.